yeah, with today, I mean, honestly crazy. I never expected to go from P17 to P1. Was hoping for good points, but this is absolutely crazy. Yeah.
From 17th to first place in one of the season's most chaotic races, Max Verstappen delivered one of the greatest driving performances in Formula One history at the Interlagos circuit. Amid rain, crashes, and red flags, Red Bull's Dutch driver proved why he's the best driver today, while his rival Lando Norris saw his title chances practically vanish after a series of crucial mistakes. 5 crashes, an aborted start, 2 red flags, and rain that turned the Brazilian GP into a true survival test. But while others succumbed to adverse conditions, Verstappen navigated as if it was a sunny afternoon. It all began on Sunday morning with one of the most dramatic qualifying sessions in recent F1 history. The heavy rain that hit São Paulo on Saturday forced a postponement of qualifying, creating a marathon of events for Sunday. And what a qualifying session it was. Interlagos turned into an ice rink, resulting in 5 red flags and 5 crashes. Franco Colapinto was the first to hit the barriers, followed by Carlos Sainz, who wrecked his Ferrari in Q2. But the moment that would change the race's outcome happened when Lance Stroll lost control. Stroll's crash came with less than 2 minutes left in Q2, and it took race control 40 seconds to show the red flag. A decision that infuriated Max Verstappen, who was on a flying lap. The result? Verstappen eliminated in Q2, and with a 5-place grid penalty for an engine change. He would start only from 17th place. Meanwhile, Lando Norris took pole position, seemingly with a clear path to narrow the championship gap. Little did anyone know, this apparent disaster for Red Bull would be the start of an epic story. And if you thought the drama ended with qualifying, you were very mistaken. The race began in the most chaotic way possible. Lance Stroll, who had already caused issues for Verstappen in qualifying, crashed during the formation lap. The start procedure had to be aborted. Norris and others completed an extra lap irregularly. It was a total disaster at the start. When the race finally began under still difficult conditions, George Russell jumped to the lead, leaving Norris in second. But all eyes were on Verstappen. The Dutch driver launched one of the greatest comebacks ever seen at Interlagos, overtaking 6 cars on the first lap alone. His braking technique at turn 1 was simply impressive. This allowed for precise overtakes even with reduced visibility. With each lap, Verstappen gained positions with calculated moves and a demonstration of complete control over the car. Within 10 laps, he was already in 6th place, maintaining a strong pace despite the soaked track. Meanwhile, his teammate Sergio Perez spun and dropped to last place, showing just how challenging the track was. It was halfway through the race when Red Bull's true strategic brilliance came into play. The rain returned with even more intensity, turning parts of the track into actual rivers. When Nico Hülkenberg spun, triggering a virtual safety car, most drivers, including leaders Russell and Norris, opted to pit for new intermediates. But Red Bull kept Verstappen on track, a decision that seemed risky at that moment. Luck was on Verstappen's side when, just 2 laps later, a severe accident by Colapinto forced the race control to display a red flag. With the race halted, all drivers were able to change tires. Verstappen gained several free positions, emerging in second place for the restart. The rain kept falling, but Verstappen seemed to be driving on another planet. When the race resumed, he showed why he's the current 3-time world champion. At the first opportunity after a new safety car, he overtook Esteban Ocon to take the lead, a position he would not relinquish. From then on, he opened an impressive gap of over 19 seconds, controlling the race while others continued to make mistakes in treacherous conditions. This was Verstappen's first win since the Spanish GP in June, breaking a 10-race winless streak. But more than that, it was a demonstration of why he's considered one of the greatest Formula One drivers of all time. A perfect blend of skill, strategy, and determination turned what started as a disastrous day into one of the greatest victories of his career. If it was a day of glory for Verstappen, for Lando Norris, it was one to forget. The McLaren driver, who had secured pole position and kept his title hopes alive, saw everything crumble in a series of critical mistakes. The first blow came right after the red flag. Norris, who had already lost positions due to a pit stop strategy, made a big error in turn 4 during the restart, allowing Russell to overtake him. But the worst was yet to come. After another interruption caused by Carlos Sainz's crash, Norris made another devastating mistake on the first corner. He lost control of his McLaren and dropped to 7th place. The team tried to minimize the damage by ordering his teammate Oscar Piastri to give up a position, but the best Norris could manage was finishing 6th. To make matters worse, he is still under investigation by the stewards for irregularities during the aborted start procedure, which could lead to a penalty and further loss of points. With this historic victory, Verstappen not only demonstrated his superiority in the most adverse conditions, he also practically sealed his 4th consecutive world title. The gap is now an impressive 62 points, with only 86 left in contention over the season's final races. Another surprise of the day was the podium, with Ocon in 2nd and Gasly in 3rd, an extraordinary result. Mercedes saw Russell finish 4th after leading much of the race, while Hamilton ended in 10th with a car he described as undrivable. As for Ferrari, Charles Leclerc finished 5th, but the day undeniably belonged to Verstappen. In a performance that will be remembered for years, the Dutch driver proved that even in the most challenging circumstances, starting from the back of the grid with heavy rain and multiple interruptions, he remains the most complete driver on the current grid. And the dramas of this Brazilian GP might not be over yet. Besides Norris, George Russell, Yuki Tsunoda, and Liam Lawson are also under investigation for the aborted start incident. Both Mercedes cars are facing a second investigation regarding tire pressure adjustments on the starting grid. These investigations could significantly alter the final race results and have a direct impact on the championship battles. The 2024 Brazilian GP went down in history as one of the season's most dramatic races. On one side, we saw Max Verstappen's brilliance turning a qualifying disaster into an epic victory. On the other, we witnessed how pressure and difficult conditions can affect even the most talented drivers, like Lando Norris. This race showed why Formula One is the pinnacle of motorsport. At Interlagos, we witnessed a perfect combination of superhuman skill, brilliant strategy, and that touch of luck every champion needs to have. Verstappen didn't just win a race, he wrote another memorable chapter in his career. With only 3 races remaining, the 4th championship is practically assured. But one thing is certain, this victory at Interlagos will be remembered as one of the greatest driving demonstrations of the modern Formula One era. If you enjoyed this complete analysis of the Brazilian GP, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. See you at the next race in Las Vegas, where Verstappen could mathematically secure his 4th world title.